Thank you, Christine, for the introduction and the opportunity. And thanks to each of you, the members of Together We Grow. You're all helping us to accelerate and advance diversity in the agriculture and food sector. That's so important, so dear to our hearts. As Mike said, ADM is proud to be a founding member of this organization. And we are committed to continue this important collaboration and partnership in the years to come. So again, a special recognition goes to you, my friend, Mike D'Ambrose, whose leadership at ADM and within Together We Grow has left a permanent mark for progress. And we hope to, all of us to stay in touch and continue to have your influence in our lives. Tackling issues as large as complex as diversity can only be accomplished when we are all focused and engaged, and bringing together this group of corporations, nonprofits, academia, government agencies, and many thought leaders bring also a similar diversity of perspectives to the solution of this problem. As we all are aware, 2020 has been a year that has only increased the urgency surrounding this issue and has driven us to accelerate the pace of real change, both in the world and inside organizations like our own in ADM. We, like all of you, are spending more time listening to our ADM colleagues. We continue to learn from their experiences, and we are committing to take action that will both have immediate and lasting impact in this important subject. And the interesting part is all of this is happening at such a crucial time for our world and our industry. The table is set for both challenge and optimistic excitement as we look at what is ahead. Food security has never been more important. We're adding 2 billion people to the Earth's population every 30 years. Think about it, 2 billion people every 30 years. And yet a recent report from the UN estimates that COVID-19 will push up to 100 million people into extreme poverty, unable to afford even the basic nutrition needed to survive. More than 38 million people are living with food insecurity just in the United States. To serve even these most basic human needs, we need to operate at scales that we can only dream of today. From sustainably growing and processing, to formulating and developing with new ingredients, to transporting into the farthest reaches of the world, this supply chain must continually transform to stay ahead of the next curve. And consumer trends are rapidly evolving, as you are evolving as people. And the pandemic has helped accelerate this evolution. People have turned most recently from quick, on-the-go meal solutions to a more balanced focus on nutrition. Health and wellness is at the forefront, with an increased focus on personal well-being and the growing belief that the body is a connected system. Functional foods that supply not only the essential calories, but vitamins and great flavors, but that can influence gut health are becoming an ever-present part of our daily routines. Alternative proteins, once seen as a fringe, fad, or novelty, are now a mainstay, with more than 50% of consumers indicated that they consider themselves flexitarian, consciously eating plant-based alternatives to meat, dairy, and even seafood. And beyond all these, we're looking for food that is not only good for us, but for food that is also good for the world. Yet sustainability has reached new levels of consumer awareness and is driving both price and preference at an accelerated pace. The players who can differentiate their products through these lenses of traceability and sustainability will truly have a competitive advantage and reshape the industry as a whole. Underpinning all of this is what? Technology. The agri-food industry is becoming the next hotbed for high-tech activity. Agri-food technology startups, think about this, received over $20 billion of funding last year, and we are on pace to surpass that mark in 2020. The confluence of computing, biology, and physics will bring a period of unprecedented innovation and disruption in the industry. I'm sure Mike is tired of hearing me saying this, but it's an incredible time to be in agriculture and food. From fertilizer applying drones to vertical farming, from digital farming technologies for better agronomics decisions to digitally enabled preventive animal health solutions, from biostimulants to advanced genomics. There are many companies, large and small, aiming at improving or disrupting the global food and agriculture industries right now. And out of all of these, you might be asking, how does this have to do with diversity? Well, the answer is simple. The workforce of tomorrow is not the workforce of today, and it is light years away from the workforce of just a decade ago. We must engage the same minds that are being recruited today by the Googles and the Tesla or the Apples of the world, and bring them to an industry that is truly life-changing on so many levels, and that so many times we take for granted. The diversity of backgrounds, perspective, capabilities, and experiences is the only way we will be able to take fully advantage of the opportunity that trends and technology present to feed the world in a more sustainable way. And in order to attract, retain, and develop this talent, we must establish a culture that not only strives for inclusion, but provides a sense of belonging, a psychological safety that allows every employee to discover their best self. A culture that permits us to combine the unique traits of thousands to achieve a common goal for billions in need. This is a challenge and opportunity we've been given. How will we collectively choose to face it is the big question. So a big thank to all of you in Together We Grow that you're trying to help us answer this collective question. Thank you. Christine, I pass it on to you.
Juan, that is amazing. And we have a lot to chew on. Thanks for bringing up the great big question. We've got a lot of work to do. And as you know, Together We Grow is focused on building a skilled, diverse, and inclusive pipeline of talent for the U.S. food and agriculture industry. You laid out a bunch of the trends that you're seeing facing our industry and what the future looks like. I'm curious, when you think about the talent pipeline that feeds into our industry, what opportunities do you see right now for us to attract more talent to this sector and that diversity of thought that you spoke about?
Yeah, as I was talking before, I think consumers are giving us, you know, when you're a CEO, you're always looking for an opportunity, an excuse to push something that you think is important. So I think all these issues that we're seeing now, the disruption, the changes in consumer desires are very important, because then consumers ask for new products and consumers ask for some changes. And then it is important that we take advantage of that opportunity and react to that by bringing the right talent. So I think that this is not just about looking into the same old colleges for ag majors all the time, but we can open our industry to engineers, to biologists, to flavorists, to data scientists, a broader appeal as our industry evolves, because we need all that talent and there are many opportunities. And to be honest, I think the time for excuses is well past, because today, I can tell you, at least for ADM, we don't have any problems, and Mike can attest to that, to attract anybody that we want into the industry. The industry is presenting enough excitement. Think about the day in my life in which in the morning I may be reviewing buying a towboat for our barges in the Mississippi River, and in the afternoon, I'm checking a clinical trial for a new probiotic to address atopic dermatitis. Think about the breadth of that, and how can we not have everybody represented in that collection of technologies and businesses? So So I think that, you know, there is no reason other than our own incompetence to make progress into this. And I think that we have a remarkable value proposition to attract young people from any sector of the population, and we should do that. That should be the expectation. That's the expectation we're placing on ourselves.
Well, I love that. ADM has been a leader championing inclusion within the industry. And as we just discussed, as a founding member of Together We Grow, much of that work was led by you and Mike, and now you're passing the baton to a new Chief Human Resources Officer.
Yes.
I'm curious, in this current cultural movement, which seems like more than just a moment, but truly a chance at potential transformation, what are you hoping to see happen within our industry when we talk about social justice issues?
Yeah, I think that, again, I think that we are all full of good intentions and good thoughts. And we all understand intuitively that differences make us better. I think the issue is sometimes we stop there, and we all are happy with, you know, our own explanations for where we are, and we justify ourselves. And I think we need to leave all that behind. And the objective here is we are the custodians. When I speak on myself, for example, in the company, about the culture I create in the company. If I'm not creating a culture of belonging that, as I mentioned before, where everybody can feel that they can be themselves and then bring their better ideas, and that will lead to better outcomes, I'm not doing my job. I just put that bluntly. So we engage a lot with our employees into trying to understand with a level of granularity and maybe detail that we didn't have before, is what's preventing us from getting there faster? What's preventing us for every employee to feel the same sense of ownership of ADM? And sometimes we feel like certain majority of the population in ADM feel certain ownership, and some other people they need to tiptoe into being themselves or explore whether they can do this or not. And I think we need to be better than that. So as I said before, as a CEO, you're always trying to find a crisis or a trigger to drive something and to drive it to the front of the attention of your organization. Organizations have a limited span of things that they can be thinking at one point in time. So we're heavily leaning into this, taking advantage of all these disgraceful things that are happening in the society to say, at least, I mean, we may not be able to fix society, but at least our little piece of society, it needs to be a better place that according to our ideals. And I think we have a lot of work to do still, but the commitment to do it. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're all on the journey and we're all on it together.
Absolutely.
A final parting thought before we close.
Sure.
Our audience today is filled with incredible people working across this industry. We have institutions of higher education, we have NGOs, we have governmental agencies, and we have many of your counterparts in industry. What insights or encouragement would you like to leave us with as we turn to the work we have before us to advance collective actions that will position agriculture as a sector where all members of our communities have a sense of belonging, and where our employees and students can show up in our organizations as their full selves, to create that diversity of thought leadership that will drive the innovation you just outlined that we desperately need?
Yeah, thank you, Christine. Very, very thoughtful question. Actually, I think I will appeal to all of you to try to take this opportunity to reframe how people think about agriculture and food, and the opportunity that this evolution of taste and evolution of thinking about food is bringing. Food, as I said on the onset, has been always taken for granted. You know, it's a little bit like water. You open the faucet, there is the water. Nobody thinks about the water treatment plants and all the infrastructure needed to do that. And food has been always available and relatively, inexpensive in certain places of the world for those privileged ones. And And sometimes we never think about what we put in our body. And now all of a sudden, there is a time in history in which people are thinking, hold on one second, how health is related to nutrition, what I put in my body, and also what I put in my body is growing into this world, and this world is having climate issues, and I having pandemic issues, and hold on, let's make sure that I pull all this together. So there is an opportunity to elevate agriculture and food to the real level of importance and fundamental nature of it. And with that, the opportunity to engage all these young souls that want to improve themselves and improve the world to come and help us with that. And it's only by bringing them that we will get more diverse. If we continue to be ourselves, we know we are not diverse to start with. So we need to appeal to them, but it's not an appeal on saying, hey, diverse person, please join it. It's a bright mind. Here you're gonna have an environment where you can help us innovate this critically important industry, not also for feeding people, but also for the sustainability of the humanity. So I think that if anything, it's like, let's reframe the conversation to talk about how innovation has happened and how innovation must happen in order for us to feed 10 billion people by 2050 sustainably. So thanks to all of you for committing to this lofty ideal.
Well, Mr. Luciano, we thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with us. We know how busy you are, so thank you for taking the time to both remind us of the large reasons that we are here, the challenges that we face, and how it's also in some ways so simple what it is that we need to focus on. And so I really appreciate your time on behalf of all of our members. Thank you.